Alright folks, this is it. One last time, let's go to Mars. Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and I am one of the best surviving Mars players in the world. That may be a lofty claim, but since this is a dead game, I don't think anyone can prove me wrong. And I have a long history of beating this game at maximum difficulty levels. Doesn't matter what the developers threw at me, with every new DLC and every patch, I could find a way to overcome it. Alas, my talents are wasted on a game that is receiving no further support from the developers, so I decided to create my own content. Now, I have never created a mod before in my life, but today is going to be a first, because I had an idea. What if I sent my cult, the cult of Pravus, the one that permeates my Discord server, and sent them into space, where I am the mission sponsor? And as you can see, that's exactly what I did with my own custom Cult of Pravus mission sponsor. We also do have a unique commander profile in the High Priest of Pravus. This is intended to be a very difficult setup, meant to be played at maximum difficulty with all of the hardest possible game rules. At least that's what I had in mind. So let me walk you through some of the effects that I have coded in here. We're going to be starting off with only $4 billion. That is not a lot compared to the other sponsors. We only have one rocket, but we do have a whopping 200 starting applicants, because, my cult is supposed to be so numerous and all that. Now, this is only going to be useful to us once at maximum difficulty because we only get one passenger rocket. So we'll have our pick of the litter, but that's only useful one time. We're going to get no research from Sol at all, and rare metal prices will be set at only $20 million. That's not a lot. We do get to construct a unique Temple of Pravus spire in our domes, which is admittedly stealing the assets from the Ark sponsor and just changing up some of the buffs, but it is a little bit stronger. All colonists are going to start off as religious, and we will be receiving tithes from Earth on a regular basis, so a small trickle of money. It's not going to be a ton, though, and it's not going to make up for the fact that we have no sponsor research, no technologies unlocked, and all technologies will take longer to research. That is going to be painful. However, for fun, we do get to discover more breakthrough anomalies. Call it divine inspiration if you'd like. For the High Priest, this character really is intended to go with the Cult of Pravus and help offset a little bit of the maximum difficulty. Again, no starting techs. Minimum comfort required for birth is lowered by 5, so it's a little bit easier to have babies. Not by much, though. The Doctor is more impactful there. The most important thing is that Explorer rovers do not have diminishing returns for research, which means if we build up correctly at the beginning of the game, we can get some Explorer rovers that are going to give us some sustainable research to make up for the lack of a sponsor. Partially, not entirely. Of course, we do need to go through our game rules and set this to maximum difficulty. That's going to be active plate tectonics, restricted footwalk, plus amateurs, Armageddon, dust in the wind, hunger, inflation, long ride, rebel yell, last arc, twister, and winter is coming, bringing us up to 975%. We can boost that further by choosing a hard mystery. Unfortunately, we have played all of them on this channel before, so I'm going to pick the one that is based on a plague, because that just seems appropriate. Now we're at 1,035%. For our rocket, I've already chosen a decent cargo and filled it up as much as we can. You can play with this as much as you want to, but this is what I'm recommending. It may not be enough. It's very sparse, but it's all you get. One thing I'm frustrated with, by the way, is I should see my decal here on this rocket. For whatever reason, the mod just does not want to code that in there, and I can't for the life of me figure out why, but I'll keep playing with it. Now, you guys should know from this game already that there is only one maximum difficulty location on this entire planet. However, I've already played it several times, therefore it's not really as challenging as picking a new map where I don't know what to expect. So I'm going to go ahead and start on 37 North, 109 West. This is going to bring me up to 1,190% difficulty, 1,200 being the absolute max of the other site. Maximum threats, not a lot of resources. This is going to be rough. But it's okay, because our glorious mission sponsor, the Cult of Pravus, shall surely lead us to the light. And speaking of sponsors, today's video is sponsored by me! You guys know that I never plug myself or any of my merch on my channel. However, today I got something really cool. Oh, it turned out so good! Look at this thing! Yes, folks, I partnered up with Epic Desk to create a custom desk pad just for you guys. And I gotta say, their artist really knocked it out of the park. All I had to do was send over a few reference images, the Acolyte, the Eclipse, a couple little ideas and prompts, and they took it from there, and wow, look what they came up with. But if red is not your color, and maybe you trend more toward the heretical side of chaos, don't worry, I got you covered. Bam! Look at that, just as beautiful. Now, this is not your typical $30 gimmick mat, okay? We've all seen those and their quality is not that great. This thing is premium. Every single person I have shown this to has commented on the quality of this thing. It is silky smooth, just the right amount of cushion, and the stitching is perfect. In fact, I'd go so far as to say this is the nicest desk mat I have ever had, and as a YouTuber, I've had a lot of them. Now, maybe you're wondering how to get one of these yourself, and here's how this is gonna work. From now until January 1st, we are accepting orders. Within 5 to 7 business days from ordering, every pad is going to be printed and shipped worldwide. But once we get to January 1st, that is it. No more orders, this is taken off of the market, and it will not be restocked. It is done and gone for good. So don't miss out on this opportunity. Heck, I'll probably buy a couple more myself. I want to have spares for life. The sizing is about 36 by 16 inches, and they will be selling for $39.95. Remember, you are paying for a true quality product that is going to last. Not to mention you're getting an amazing design and, of course, supporting the channel at the same time. Look, I don't do merch ever, alright? But when I do, let no one say I don't go for the good stuff. Remember, you have until January 1st to make your purchase and then it is gone, so check out that link down below.
Oh, hi. Yes. You like it? Yes, you do. Oh, he's taking it now.
Now, let's get back to the actual game. Welcome back to Mars. Now, I've done a bit of scouting on this map in preparation for this video. There's this nice little pre-scanned area here in the center with a research anomaly, which may be very tempting. But don't actually land here, because there is pretty much no water in this canyon, unless, you know, there's something random that happens in this map that I'm not expecting. Also, don't start in this corner, same issue. Over here in this corner is okay, but I'd recommend starting in one of these two corners. That's where you're going to have the most resources and the most life support in order to actually build out your colony. Before I actually scan a sector over here, the first thing I'm going to do is actually set up Explore AI as my chosen tech. That way, if I discover some water, which I think might happen right here, boom, we accomplish a milestone, and that science automatically goes to something I care about instead of being assigned to this useless research up here in the top left. And every little bit of science is going to matter in our early game because of how difficult our start is going to be. Let's go ahead and land our rocket. The cult has left behind the degradation and corruption and sin of Earth, and instead looks to the stars, to the angry red planet, where they might worship their god in peace. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start scanning some of the nearby areas around here, just so I can get some lay of the land, find resources, find anomalies, and there should be a few in this general vicinity, I believe. We also want to go ahead and set up some outsourcing of our science, because again, with 0 science from Sol, we're not making any progress on this tech, and we're going to need it. We could go for the cheap thing. But at this point, with natural disasters on their way, speed is of the essence, so I'm going to have to fork over a lot of money to get a good amount of science. Now, why do we care about Explorer AI? Because this is going to generate 100 science per soul for every RC Explorer we have, and we do start with one with our default setup, so this is going to get me a little bit of local science. Normally, every additional Explorer you get is going to have diminishing returns. Instead of 100, you get 80 for your second, then 50 for your third, and so on and so forth. But with the High Priest, we can actually get as many Explorers as we want, and that gets me science. It is very expensive to do this, though, because it costs like $400 million each. Still, that is our only way of getting some early science. And I did that on purpose, because I don't want this to be an unfair scenario and sponsor. I don't want things to be like hard for just being the sake of hard, right? I want it to be difficult, but once you have a way of overcoming it, if you're willing to pay the cost, it is something that can be overcome, and I think that's how all good mods really ought to be. In fact, one of the first things I'm going to do is actually go ahead and buy another one of these RC Explorers. It's not useful for doing anything except for generating science. And over the long run, this is going to pay for itself better than any of the mission sponsors is going to. So let's immediately go ahead and get that going. Now, we do have some other RCs like a transport and stuff. I see a little bit of metal, but that's not going to do me a lot of good. We're also not doing any scanning on the planet right now, so we need to go ahead and get that going immediately. I think that there's going to be some concrete in this general vicinity. I really hope so, because we haven't found any concrete. I kind of need that to start things off. So we're just going to go ahead and build up a bit of power with some large solar power plants. Plus, of course, we need a battery for some storage, and I need to get myself a couple of these sensor towers. Remember, though, while we are playing on maximum difficulty here, this time I'm not playing with the Pioneer. So these actually do have power requirements, and they do take maintenance. Also, electronics. And I have precious few electronics to work with. So while I'd love to have a bunch of these to scan the planet rapidly, that would be a very dangerous investment. It might be worth getting a third. Maybe. The faster we can explore, the faster I can discover anomalies that hopefully get me some breakthroughs and some science to make up for our deficit. So we're going to try something like that. We will see if that works out for me. Sensor towers are up and running. Okay, let's actually scan probably this one first, because I think that has concrete, and we'll try something like that. Okay. We have pretty much no starting metals in our immediate zone, which is a little bit scary and unfortunate, but we are going to have to live with that. Let's go ahead and land this pod. The advantage of having one of these supply pods is once we scrap it, it's also worth a small amount of metal. So that can be helpful. And now, once we finish up with this initial science, we are going to have 200 research coming just from my explorers. That's going to give us a pretty nice benefit. I also want to go ahead and immediately start working on building up a ramp down to the lower section. Since we do know that there is an anomaly in that area, I could see that being pretty useful. If this gets me 1,500 science right off the bat, that's actually an instantaneous completion of our Explorer AI. Now, what are some other priorities for us? Well, usually this would be pretty good. Live from Mars, more applicants, but since we have 200, I actually don't think this is going to be very useful to us. So I'm probably going to skip it. There are some social techs that are quite good, though. Opportunities to get some extra money, which might be a saving grace for us. Ways of boosting up our colonists. Passenger rockets is usually down pretty far in this tech tree, so I don't think we're going to get that before we have our first round of colonists. Some physics research isn't bad. We do need to get some subsurface heating modules for the first cold wave, otherwise we're going to die. And we do need to get things like farming tech. So we have to work down biotech, physics, and social. I think that's the top priority to start. Get some key techs out of the way, then we can focus on things like engineering and some robotics. So I'm going to queue those up, just in case. You never want to have any overflow of research, otherwise it automatically gets applied in this general vicinity, and I have no use for low-G shaft tunneling at the beginning of the game, okay? None whatsoever. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what are our mission objectives with the Cult of Pravus? Glad you asked. Let's take a look. Our goal is to land some colonists on Mars by Sol 20, which isn't actually ridiculous. I think my record is like 13 or 14 souls into the game. But because we start with basically no research, I figured things are going to be a little bit slower. I want to have a little bit of fair buffer. And if we do this, we are going to get a free Temple of Pravus spire to put into our dome. And the spire is actually pretty darn good. I buffed this temple a little bit. So we definitely want to have one of these very early on. We also need to research 15 technologies. Again, easier said than done since we're going to be very strapped for science. 10 free supply pods will be nice. 50 Martian-born specialists means we need to have a very good birth rate as well as an education department, and that will get me a boost of some much-needed science. Deep scan 30 sectors is kind of a later game goal, 50% boost in the price of rare metals. And then finally, our ultimate goal is to have 500 colonists on Mars. If we do this, we are going to discover a strange aura around the planet that we will be able to discover and get some sort of inspiration from our god Pravus, i.e. me. Feels a little bit weird to talk about me in this way, but you know, there you go. Anyway, nothing for us to do except for just wait for the sun to come back up so we can do some more scanning, keep working on this. Now, one little thing I did mention at the beginning of the game is we're going to be getting some tithes from Earth. Every soul we are going to get $40 million from the cult. That is not a lot of money. That means every 5 souls we get $200 million. That is not enough to get much science at all, right? So this is not enough to overcome the fact that we have no research from Sol, but it does give us a teeny little bit of extra buffer over time that we will be able to use to get some extra cash, maybe some much needed materials. Heirloom, what do we get here? You have discovered a package with a letter attached. Your eyes fill with tears and informs you your old friend and teacher, Professor Richtman, has passed away. Contains a legacy protected by a 3-letter password. You'll know. Well, that's interesting. I'm trying to remember the last time that I saw this freaking event. This is amazing. Super fungus, superior cables and superior pipes, plasma rocket, and nano refinement. Ooh. So super fungus is okay. It gets you extra food at the cost of more oxygen. Plasma rocket just speeds up how fast your rockets and supply pods can move. Superior cables would save me a lot of pain in the future because it makes me pretty much immune to a lot of the effects of natural disasters. So this is extremely tempting. The alternative is to go for nano refinement, which is also very good. It means that when a deposit has been depleted, it continues to provide a little bit of resources, which could be huge for us. However, you still have to pay maintenance on those extractors, and I think over time, we'll be able to overcome the need for those resources, so I think either of these is very feasible, but I'm going to pick up the superior cables and pipes. No breaking cables and pipes during natural disasters will be massive. That is one of the luckiest things I think I could possibly have gotten in this game. Praise Pravus indeed. Also praise Pravus, we did find our concrete right where I was thinking it might be. Okay, let's go ahead and get ourselves that much-needed concrete extractor. Of course, a few cables to connect up with this. It's not free yet, all right? We only discovered the breakthrough tech. I'm still going to have to research this, but it's not even that expensive. God, this is actually going to be amazing for me. Wow, what a start. And there's our Explorer AI tech done. Okay, so now we're up to 1,200 science per soul, which is great. I'm going to go ahead and put these breakthroughs in here just so we don't waste any science overflow if we have it. But it's going to be a low priority for the start. As awesome as those techs are, I don't have to have them. They're just really, really useful. Let's get this concrete extractor up and running first thing, and then once I have this going, we can finish the battery, which means we can run it during the night. And once I have all that set up, we'll go ahead and get our fuel production up and running. New anomalies! Thank God. I mean, Pravus. We're going to have some tech revealing and also extra science. That's great, because I've got 2 explorers over here. Gosh, we're getting a really, really lucky start right now. Unbelievably lucky. Also, that funding continues to trickle in. Thank you, Cult of Pravus. Don't think for a second that's overpowered, by the way, because it's not. The USA sponsor would give us, I think, $500 every 5 souls, so it ends up being 100 per soul. So we're getting 40% of the value of if we had started off as the USA. Like, that's kind of the thing of the Cult of Pravus. It does have a lot of inspired mechanics from the rest of the game and the other sponsors, but they're very nerfed in comparison. That's why I think this is a very hard difficulty. So we finished off with actually both of these techs. Okay, so we've revealed the farm. That's good. Autonomous sensors actually might be a little bit better to get right now so we can reduce the power and maintenance requirement on these sensor towers. Do not underestimate how useful it is to save on maintenance. That's huge. Recon center and high rise, that is not useful to me. So we're not going to worry about that. Early in the social, there usually is also a technology that would boost up your soul science from soul. So I think it would be worth getting something here early on. Let's pick up the slightly cheaper technology, and I actually am going to make this a higher priority and knock this out, because I'll bet you it's either here or here, and I'd like to take the 50% chance that we can boost up our science by another 100. I didn't completely disable the ability to have science from soul, unlike the Idiocracy mod, which the developers created for the game, but it is, you know, obviously going to be very, very reduced. All right, so that's taken care of. We now have some concrete coming in. I just want to get myself a little bit of concrete so we can finish the battery, and that's about to finish. So let's go ahead and next pick up our fuel refinery somewhere over here, plus our only moisture vaporator right next to it. We're going to need about 6 solar panels in total just so I can keep some things running. I'm going to turn this off overnight, and instead we'll just go ahead and keep producing a bit of fuel. Let's also make sure we always place down a quick little fuel depot next to this, and disable this over here on the off chance fuel explodes and destroys all of my starting resources. Then we would basically just be dead. Okay, we did discover the Earth-Mars initiative. That's the one that I was looking for. That's worth an extra science per soul from the sponsor. All right, so with that, we'll be back up to 1,300, at least temporarily. Remember by Soul 5, though, so very soon, we're going to lose all of our outsourcing, which means we're going to go down to only 300 science per soul, unless I'm willing to spend a lot more money, which I don't have a lot more money, so that ain't going to happen. Finding a few useful things up over here. We do have more water sources, more concrete, and a research site. Okay, so maybe one dome right here for a vista and one up over here for a research site, and then we can have a research dome dedicated. The sooner we can get colonists that are working on science, obviously, the better, because I desperately need to have that early game science. Science is like the most important thing in surviving Mars, to be honest. I mean, you need a lot of resources, but science is what enables you to do it. So that's one of the reasons I thought that making this mod would be extra difficult, is by nerfing the science, we're creating a pretty tough game for ourselves. Found another anomaly right next to us. Good, we can go ahead and reveal a few more technologies. That might be useful. Oh god, and a dust devil right next to me. Okay, that scares me a little bit. If that comes through here, we could actually die. With only one drone commander and all of my drones, like none from the rocket, all of them are coming from the drone commander. If this thing gets hit, I think we lose the game. So we're going to have to be extra careful here. We discovered a couple more biotech researches, utility crops, Yeah, I mean, is pretty good to have. New crops are great. I'd rather have this because we can get the better quality farming technology done, so I do want that. Please go away. This stupid dust devil dude. If it keeps spawning over here, that is going to be a constant threat for me. Constant, I tell you. Oh my god, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you freaking dare. Get away from me. Oh my god. We are on the edge of a knife with this thing. That's like having a freaking meteor hit you at the beginning of the game. Which I have had happen, for the record. It's terrible. You know one thing we could do? This is actually unnecessary, maybe. But, if we can get enough concrete together, you place down some of these landing pads. Do this in a couple of areas, and this actually also breaks the dust storm because it hits this and there's no dust to spin up, which means it goes away. So if I see this spawn over here again and I start to think, okay, this is a spawning location for a dust devil, placing one of these, or two of them even, in this area is maybe a useful, there it is, right, oh my god, why are there three of them? Okay, we need to go ahead and build some of these, maybe? I'll delete them later, but if we can place down a couple of these and maybe just protect myself, I may need to do that. Holy crap, it's an electromagnetic one too. Oh god, run. Don't you dare, you freak. Oh god, it broke off the rocket. Thank you, holy frick. Okay, yeah, as lucky as this start is, I don't want to squander it. For God's sake, I don't want to squander it. Only bad things, man. Bad things will happen. Oh, more funding available from Mars. Don't mind if I do. Let's make that a higher priority. We are working on this anomaly, so we might get some progress toward it. And my transport did get hit by that. Okay, well, I have the drone commander nearby, so we're okay. Oh, it did actually hit several of my solar power panels, too. So we just lost a lot of metals because that hit me. It's okay, though. It does happen. There's the autonomous sensors, so we no longer need maintenance or power on these. That helps. So we need to research farm and subsurface heating. I know I need these. I don't need them now. But again, if anything is going to go... Actually, I guess these could be a slightly lower priority for now. It's okay, but we have to have these done before the colonists arrive on Mars. What are we going to need in order to build our first dome? That's going to be a lot of concrete, some metals, and some polymers. Now, I don't have enough polymers. We either need to discover some on the surface, or we're going to have to order some from Earth, which is where the money comes in. The concrete we are working on, we are producing about how much per soul? 13? Yeah, about 13 per soul. We'll have enough in order to build up our first dome before soul 20. I will also probably have enough fuel to send the rocket back up into... Whoop, there's another one of these things. Holy crap, one just spawned right here. Frick me, what is going on? Okay, we are surrounded by terrible things, is what I'm learning. This is a very, very scary start for me, actually. Oh, God. The tone just completely changed. I'll build another one of these landing pads. This one I might actually keep long-term. It'll be fine. I hate wasting my concrete on this because this slows me down a little bit, but ooh, God, I am not playing around with this. No, thank you, sir. Only having 4 drones at the start is admittedly making my life pretty tough. Not happy with that right now. We do have an event anomaly over here. This can be good. It could also be very bad for us. You never really know what you're gonna get. Wreckage of Phobos 2, an old probe. Oh, nice. Discover several new anomalies. Yes. What do we find? We found one here, a couple over here, and one down here. All right, so is it worth traveling all the way to discover this stuff? Absolutely it is. You better believe it. What would it cost me if I want to get myself some polymers? Not much. This is 2 days of funding from the cult for only 5 polymers. It's not a lot, don't get me wrong, but it's an acceptable amount. I will also buy a couple of extra drones. I don't usually spend my money on this, but I think we need to be building and processing our economy a little bit faster. Right now it is kind of devastatingly slow. What is this? We collected valuable geographic data. Oh my god, 4 moisture evaporators, yes. Well, the drone hubs are good too. I could use this, but I need the moisture evaporators. These are expensive, and we need as many of those as we can. They're so good to have. I mean, I guess, okay. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe the drone hubs would have been better, because the underground water is nearby. Oftentimes I play this game and the water's so far away, you have to have moisture evaporators. So now that I think about it, this actually would have been, yeah, I should have done that. I should have done that. That is a mistake on my end. I got overexcited because I'm just so used to it being a problem. For the amount of money I just saved on those moisture evaporators, I can still buy a drone hub, and I only need 1, honestly. I don't need more than that. Another anomaly over here. Oh, expect fierce dust devils to form the anomaly location. Right, was that from this one? If that's the case, I'm very glad that I have this one landing pad to hopefully slow it down. Let's get out of here. Another anomaly found up here. I believe that is actually going to be a breakthrough for us. Hold on. Turn around, go around here, and scan this thing. Printed electronics is our first breakthrough we discover naturally on the planet. Allow drone prefabs to be constructed using metals instead of electronics. Good if we want to make a bunch of drones. This is not bad. This is actually a totally fine tech to have. It's just not useful to me at the beginning of the game, so meh. So far, honestly, this is a halfway decent start. I really don't feel too bad about how we are doing. There's our superior milestone. Oh, I forgot, by finishing a breakthrough, we also get a free 500 science there. That's great. I should note, we do have rivals on Mars, right? Yeah, there we go. Paradox Interactive's here, plus Japan and Space Y. They could steal some of these milestones from us. Usually they steal things like the water, though. I'm hoping to still get most of these. Every little bit of extra science helps. In fact, if you want to launch a rocket from Mars, that would also be worth a bit. Before I do that, I think what I will probably do is just go ahead and buy one drone hub. That does take up a bunch of my space. But for $150 million, that's totally affordable, and that solves a few problems here. We could also think about which of the factories we might need at the beginning of the game. Once our people are here, they can start producing some useful things. So like if I wanted to go ahead and buy a small machine parts factory, I won't keep it in the long term, but early on, it's all right. Let's also go ahead and just buy one more drone since I've got some cargo capacity, and no, I can't fit anything else. It's fine, just go ahead and launch. This is what the money is for, all right? We are using our money in the early game to make sure that we get a little bit of something to give us a boost. And here comes our first natural disaster. It's an electromagnetic dust storm. Fortunately, I don't have much issues with my moisture vaporators. I don't need water yet. Also, my solar panels are going to suffer. So basically, I'm about to lose a fair load of metals from repairs. Also, almost all of my structures are going to be taking more damage. So this is going to suck, but, I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. It'll be okay. And a meteor shower! Oh, good, I get double storms at the same time! Uh-oh. Okay, this could be a problem. I have no way of protecting myself. If one hits here, I lose everything and we lose the game. A couple more anomalies, more research and stuff. Great, let's go ahead and pick those up. And with this area flattened, we can start working on the dome construction. The question to me is, when do we go ahead and launch the rocket? And honestly, I think the time is now. So let's go ahead and get this out of here. Go back to Earth, our beautiful rocket. Thank you for the science. Japan has nearly completed. They're building their dome? All right, we don't want to lose that. Let's go ahead and try getting ourselves a dome set up. It has to be close to the vista. If we do this here, I think it's close enough that we can still get to the metals. It's close, but I think that we can. So let's go ahead and start building. I'm gonna make this a top priority. I don't want to lose out on that milestone. I'm debating whether it's worth going for a little bit of outsourcing. For a little bit of money? Yeah, it's worth doing a little bit. It'll help me get things like the drone swarm, because once I have the drone swarm, I'd like to go ahead and place down the drone hub that I bought. That'll give me a couple of extra drones in total. It's a very minor efficiency, not strictly required, but it'll be good. Found some more planetary anomalies. Can't do much of that until we are willing to use our rockets, but I'm not. Rocket is on its way back to Earth, by the way, only 17% progress. It's gonna take a while for it to get back. I really hope we launched this in time. I think we did, though. I think we're all right. And here comes the storm. All right, we knew this was gonna happen. And there goes all of my power generation for a bit. We can fix that partially by simply building up a quick wind turbine, and I guess for the sake of diversifying my power, we can go ahead and do this. So I'll just go ahead and place one of these. This is going to generate a lot of extra power during the storm anyway, so it'll help make up for a lot of my deficit. We discovered faster trains, useless, and planetary survey as well. Didn't we already discover planetary survey? I could have sworn I already saw this. Hey, did you rediscover the same things? Is that allowed? Meteor storm has officially begun. Ah, we just got hit by some lightning. So where are the meteors striking? Way up over here. Okay, far enough away from me, and thank God for that. If it was gonna spawn here, I actually was gonna cry. Dome is almost complete. Get that first. Ha! Suck it, Japan! And that completes my drone swarm, which means now I can get myself that much needed drone hub. And boom. Okay, now we have another source of drones. That's gonna make my life easier. Okay, so now we need to get things like life support up and a-running. We also definitely need to get some water towers. One thing I actually forgot to mention, I am using one other mod as I play this game, and that is still the unofficial content mod that I tried with the last series, which added in a few useful things, you know, some more like larger storage buildings, automatic metals extractors and stuff, so we don't have to have people in order to do this. All that could be useful, though it does require some additional research, and they are expansive. So I may never really get to take advantage of that. So let's think about what are the things we want to build inside of the dome. Obviously, we need to get some very basic housing figured out. A couple of living complexes would be good. We also definitely will need to get our standard lineup of an infirmary, plus a diner, and usually like a grocer or something for the shopping value, I think. Though we could actually go for something like the amphitheater instead, boosting up social relaxation and luxury needs. It's nice, but I'm not willing to pay the polymer maintenance cost right now. I'd rather just go ahead and get the grocer, and that fulfills shopping, which is a more common need anyway. It's gonna take me a little while to build. It's fine. What are you working on now? The first human on Mars? Japan! Stop it! They actually might beat me on that one, to be honest. They really, really might. But that's only 250 science compared to the 500, so at the end of the day, I still beat them on the thing that matters more. It is time, by the way, to name our dome. I always name these after some of my top-tier patrons. You know something? Let's go ahead and name this after somebody new on the roster, somebody who has never been in a series before, and that is going to be Quebby. Welcome aboard. You are hopefully going to be the first of many, our true cradle on Mars. The rocket, by the way, is about to arrive back at Earth, which means it is also time for us to find our passengers. Now, we have so many applicants that I should be able to do a lot of good things. We do not want tourists. We're never going to have any specializations. Like, this is just a known thing. We're not allowed to because of one of the difficulty ratings for this game. But yeah, definitely turn off tourists. Don't allow them. Screw that. Age group, I do not want seniors. I don't even really want middle-aged people. I can live with adults. That's fine. No children, though, either. I want to get a mix of male and female to max out our chance of good births. The sexy trait is good at the beginning of the game for the extra birth rate. Definitely would like that. Workaholic is solid. Shouldn't need survivor much. Nerd is okay for temporary boost, but not a big deal. Hippie is fine. Gamer's not that important. Fit can be useful at times. Party animal. More comfort when satisfying social. Yeah, that's useful. Enthusiast could be good. Sure. And I don't really care about composed, okay? Question, why can I not see my applicants? Did I mess this up somewhere in the mod? This is weird. I actually cannot see anyone. Huh? Hold on. That's actually a huge problem. I need to be able to see who the heck I'm bringing. Uh-oh. Let me take a step back real quick and see if I broke something under the hood. No, I don't see anything in my coding that could even touch that variable. I'm not sure what the heck's happening here. Huh. I mean, I guess as long as they're within this category, right, and youth and adults only, and we have any of these perks I'll be happy with, and no flaws, that's pretty good. The thing that really bothers me is I really wanted to have 6 men and 6 women so that I can max out my odds of having children, and now I have 0 control of this. So that's the only problem with not being able to see this. In a way, it's actually kind of fun to go for something blind, right? Like having no idea who's coming. There's something about that that's actually kind of cool. It's just, I may not be able to have any babies. I don't see a way around it, though. So I'm gonna go ahead and have to take a risk. I'm gonna save the game, and if it turns out this is atrocious, I may have no choice but to reload. This is definitely a bug. It's probably my fault. I just have no idea how it happened. Regardless, here we go. 12 of our best and brightest. Launch! Got him on pins and needles. I really have no idea what to expect. And Japan landed their first rocket. Oh well, it's fine. Just understand, Japan, that this means that I hate you, and it shall be war from here on out. I do think maybe we want to try going for an early research lab. 5 electronics is expensive, but it would be nice to have. We'll see. Definitely need to get a farm, though. That's not optional, we know that. I will eventually get a proper dedicated farming dome. Like, all of this stuff is very preliminary, all right? The Quebby Dome is going to be getting a lot of different upgrades as time goes on, but for now, this is going to have to be okay. I do think we have to buy some more resources, so let's buy some polymers, machine parts, and I will buy some electronics just so I could try to go for the science. Yeah, we're still doing okay-ish on money. The tithes really are starting to add up. But I need to get things like some coating and stuff on this moisture evaporator, like ways of getting additional water, because right now we're just not storing up enough to take care of the dome. Not yet. Oxygen's fine. I rarely ever have issues with oxygen. You can be fine on oxygen for a good long while. But quick hydroscopic coating over here, 50% more production. We're making 1.5 water over here. It's gonna be, whoa. Ah, frick me. It's gonna be not enough, it's gonna be barely enough water to have a surplus when the passengers do arrive, which will be soon. I will outsource another time for another 1,000 science. They're cheap, right? But I want to save at least $1 billion in reserve, because you never know when there's going to be an emergency situation, and I'm going to wish that I had the cash to either buy a building I need or some key resources. So that's the only reason I'm doing it that way. But a little bit of science just to keep things moving at a halfway decent rate? Sure. Until the people arrive and can start working the research lab, I think that's fine. Also remember that it is usually worth having a bunch of these extra shifts. This does make people exhausted, but they get a lot of extra value per person. It is literally better to have more shifts with only one person working overtime rather than one shift, you know, working, or rather, yeah, a couple of shifts actually working like normal time. Like, the amount of extra value you get is insane. I've always thought that that's kind of a slight bug in the game. Not exactly. It seems to be intentional, but it always seemed a little bit weird that that's how it worked. Not that I'm complaining, though. Totally fine. I will take advantage of it. Now, how many jobs do I actually have to start? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 jobs, so right now I have too many. We can turn off at least a couple of shifts in areas I don't need it. And this should be okay to start. We're gonna have no one available to work things like the underground metals, not until our population grows, but that is okay for the moment. The rocket is here! All right, let's find out what we got today. Welcome to Mars, my beautiful cultists. Your dream hath been realized. All right, off they go. Let's find out what we've got here. What is going on here? You are unemployed. Well, that's your problem. You can get employed. So we have an enthusiast and a religious person. Good. A workaholic religious person. Good. We've got a gamer workaholic religious person. Sexy religious. Gamer religious. Founder religious. Party animal. Fit. Workaholic. It is surprisingly hard to click on these people. What the heck? There we go. Another sexy. Good. Another sexy. And wow, look at this one. Caroline. Party animal, religious survivor, and workaholic. Whoa. The real question is, what did we get as far as our gender makeup? I'm pretty sure we got like 4 men and 8 women. That is a problem. There may not be much I can do about that, but that is a problem. 5 men. Okay, 5 men and 7 women. That's what we ended up getting in total. Okay, well, you know what? As far as what randomization could have been, this turned out sort of okay. It could have been a whole lot worse. By the way, we got our Temple of Pravus prefab. You guys ready to see that? I'll bet you are. The Temple of Pravus. Look at it. It's a stolen asset. Okay, I took it from the Ark. I didn't have the materials to make my own, but look at it. It even says in the top right, a place to meditate and seek the wisdom of our benevolent Lord. Visitors recover sanity. It's not the only thing they recover. This is a new beginning for the Red Planet, full of hope and determination. Haha. They're going to be very happy for at least a while. And right now we are in the founder stage. Once the founder stage is concluded, some interesting things can happen that I've programmed into the game. We will see if they ever show up. Oh, I didn't think that the Temple of Pravus actually required a person. I didn't think about that. Right. So we're actually down a job somewhere. Where? The grocer? I can live with the grocer. Machine parts factory, a bit less so. 0.7 per soul. I think it's enough to do some good. And the research lab is currently doing nothing for us. I'm curious to see how much research we do get out of this. 146. There we go, guys. That's gonna help a lot. So far, I would say that this is a very, very promising start for us. We are making things work despite the fact that I don't have a whole lot of science. We've been able to boost this up pretty substantially with the use of the explorers, plus we have the little bit of extra from the sponsor, and going early and hard on getting that research building will ultimately pay off in a big, big way. We also have nowhere near enough water. Ha! Right, we should fix that. And as long as we are able to keep our life support going, as long as we are able to produce our food, I think we're gonna be fine here. We're fine in terms of our power. We're doing fine on most of our resources. I have intentionally turned the Moxie down to only 1 shift, by the way. You should really only need like 1, sometimes 2 in order to keep yourself up and running. Oxygen's not that hard to get at the beginning of the game. Still worried about the advanced resources. I think that is the thing more than anything that can come back to bite me. But again, as long as we are using our funding wisely, we'll be okay. I'm also kind of wondering if this mod is balanced enough. I'm a little worried that maybe it's too easy so far. That may not be true. I mean, it certainly is. We certainly started with a lot of hindrances, for sure. Either I played this relatively well, and the extra luck that we got from some of these breakthroughs and stuff has been phenomenal for us, or maybe this is still a little bit too easy and I make it harder. This is not available on the Steam Workshop yet, by the way. If that's something you guys are looking for, it is still not currently an option for you. We are ready to send our rocket back to Earth once again. Question, are there any anomalies that would make a big difference for us? Some resources there. A breakthrough at the cost of our transport temporarily. New technologies and stuff like that. It is super cool seeing my icon right here. Super cool. Yeah, if I'm willing to spend the fuel, finding another breakthrough before we end this video may not be a bad idea. Off you go! Find me something good, please. Something game-changing. We get landscaping nanites. Oh, okay. Landscaping projects are faster and do not need drones. That actually will be great for us when we do start with the terraforming projects. But so far, honestly, between printed electronics and landscaping nanites, I think we're getting a little unlucky. The only really good stuff we found were the ones we got from a very, very lucky event. This is just like kind of meh. Well, we'll see. Oh, there's some comfort rating for my farms. That's good to pick up if we can, because it does result in more comfort. And remember, more comfort is how we are going to get some babies, which our comfort rating is looking really good by now, by the way. It's at 70. So, like, we're doing okay here. Also, if I did get myself an amphitheater, we would be able to meet the needs for relaxation. I'm going to go ahead and do it, even though I don't want to pay the polymers for it, because the more comfort I have, the better. We'll be able to have an early baby, which, haha, we got our first baby! All right, the first Martian born. Haha, Japan! Sucks to be you. God, it looks like a freaking alien. Anyway, we are no longer in the founder stage. Which is gonna come with some interesting problems if I've designed this mod correctly. You'll see. I don't want to spoil it. It's gonna be interesting. Also, we just found a cyber war. Oh, great. We're fighting against one of our rivals. They inserted a Trojan horse to look around and hinder our operations. Interesting. Make them lose resources. Make them lose colonists and some money. Gain standing with them, or just go ahead and get some money. I'm gonna go ahead and blackmail him. Screw it. Let's go ahead and blackmail Elon Musk. It's gonna be great. I am gonna set a rule for myself, never to trade with any of the rivals, and never to pirate them to kidnap their women. We've done that before. It's hilarious, but we're not going to, because I think that is going to increase the difficulty. Now they exist only to hinder me. Truly, this is going to be an extremely difficult run, but I am here for it. So far, otherwise, though, I'd say the mod is working exactly as intended, and I'm quite happy with this. I look forward to sharing it with you guys in the future. For now, we'll just keep playing with it. You know, we'll test out the balance, see if there's anything I need to tweak. If you guys have any recommendations in the comment section, I am certainly all for it. Just remember, the goal is not to make this so difficult it's unplayable, and most importantly, not fun. I just expect it to be, you know, kinda hard. In the meantime, that's where I'm gonna end things. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you're looking forward to this new series of Surviving Mars with my own personal Cult of Pravus mod. If you guys are as excited as I am, be sure to hit that like button down below, leave a comment, subscribe, and don't forget that the desk mats are only going to be available for a very limited time. So be sure to check that link as well. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.